Welcome to this week's edition of Oncology Updates, covering the latest breakthroughs. Brought to you by Lucid Quest. Singapore has approved Toripalimab, marketed as Loqtorzi, in combination with cisplatin and gemcitabine as first-line therapy for nasopharyngeal carcinoma. It is the first and only immuno-oncology treatment for NPC in the country. This approval is based on the JUPITER-02 trial, which demonstrated a 37% reduction in the risk of death. This milestone was achieved under Project Orbis, reflecting growing global regulatory collaboration. The Committee for Medicinal Products for Human Use has issued a positive opinion for a neoadjuvant Opdivo plus chemotherapy regimen, followed by surgery and adjuvant Opdivo, in resectable non-small cell lung cancer. This recommendation is based on the CheckMate 77T trial, which showed a significant event-free survival benefit, and brings Bristol-Myers Squibb closer to a second EU NSCLC approval. Keystone Pharmaceuticals has submitted its second EMA application for Sugemalimab, this time targeting unresectable stage 3 NSCLC. The Gemstone 301 trial demonstrated a 56% reduction in the risk of death. With a prior EMA filing for stage 4 disease, this new submission addresses a critical treatment gap in locally advanced lung cancer. Merck's subcutaneous formulation of Keytruda has demonstrated non-inferiority to its intravenous counterpart in terms of efficacy and pharmacokinetics in the phase 3 3475 AD77 trial. Notably, the SC version reduced total treatment time for patients and healthcare staff by nearly 50%. Regulatory reviews are ongoing in both the US and EU. New data from the MARIPOSA trial show that the combination of Rybrevant and Lazertinib may exceed osimertinib in overall survival for EGFR mutant NSCLC. The hazard ratio is 0.75, with 56% of patients alive at 3.5 years, compared to 44% on osimertinib. Median OS has not yet been reached for the combination. Bowen Biotech's BA1302, a first-in-class antibody-drug conjugate targeting CD228, has received FDA orphan drug designation for squamous NSCLC and pancreatic cancer. The ADC is designed for high tumor specificity and reduced systemic toxicity, and aims to address rare, difficult-to-treat cancers. Cabozantinib has received FDA approval for progressive pancreatic and extrapancreatic neuroendocrine tumors. The CABINET trial showed a median progression-free survival of 13.8 months versus 3.3 months with placebo. This multi-regional Project Orbis approval includes patients aged 12 and older. Henlius has dosed the first patient in Japan in its global phase 3 trial testing HLX22 plus trastuzumab and chemotherapy in HER2-positive gastric and gastroesophageal junction cancer. The study also runs in China and the US, and targets a cancer type with notably poor survival outcomes. Immunon has completed its phase 3 protocol design for the OVATION 3 trial of IMNN-001, an intraperitoneal IL-12 DNA immunotherapy. Aligned with the FDA, the trial follows phase 2 results showing a 13-month overall survival advantage. Recruitment is now underway. Genelux has reached agreement with the FDA on the registrational path for Olvivec in platinum-resistant recurrent ovarian cancer. The phase 3 OnPrime trial, also known as GOG 3076, may support traditional approval without a separate confirmatory trial if key progression-free and overall survival targets are met. Japan has approved TIVDAK, marking the first antibody-drug conjugate approved for advanced or recurrent cervical cancer in the country. The Innova TV301 phase 3 trial showed a 30% reduction in death risk versus chemotherapy. Median overall survival was 11.5 months for TIVDAK versus 9.5 months for chemo. The FDA has expanded Pluvicto's label to include pre-chemotherapy treatment in metastatic castration-resistant prostate cancer. The PSMA-4 trial showed a 59% reduction in radiographic progression-free survival risk. This move triples the patient population eligible for treatment and leverages an industry-first radioligand therapy manufacturing model. The FDA has approved Durvalumab in the neoadjuvant and adjuvant setting for muscle-invasive bladder cancer. Based on the Niagara trial, the therapy showed hazard ratios of 0.68 for event-free survival and 0.75 for overall survival, establishing a new treatment standard for MIBC. The CHMP has issued a positive opinion on a subcutaneous formulation of Opdivo for various tumor types. The CheckMate 67T study demonstrated non-inferiority in pharmacokinetics and objective response rate, along with a faster, more flexible administration option. A final decision is expected by June 2025. Stay ahead in oncology research. Like, share, and subscribe for weekly updates. Visit www.lqventures.com or email us at info@lqventures.com for expert healthcare consulting.